it's a very competitive business, and you have to find unique ways to grow.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Moving Fast podcast. Very excited today. I have a good friend of mine and a longtime customer, Kyle Meagher. He's with Morse Allied up in Michigan. And, he's actually our first guest. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, I want to jump right into it. It's moving fast, so we want to keep the conversation moving. You being up in Michigan, I've seen your post. You're really good at networking. You're involved with a lot of different smaller groups, whether it's carpenters.
Well, I'm in a B&I group, which is essentially a business network group, and we get together every week, and we get to know each other on a personal level, where we develop friendships as well as help each other grow our businesses. So
has that worked out for you? Has it been working out well for you guys? Because I know the last post I saw was the Chamber of Commerce, and I see you put out a sheet that you have where you have, if you're involved in this industry, like sign up for it and we'll network and connect with each other. Has that been working out well for you up there? Like, do you get many leads and do you close many deals because of that?
Yeah, it's funny because, as you know, I did inside sales with Morse Moving for, a couple of years before I transitioned to outside sales, which everybody eventually wants to do because it's where the bigger jobs are, the more money, and more chance to be successful. And, I transitioned into that role during like the peak of the pandemic. So it was a very interesting time because not only did I do it right before summer when it was really busy, I also didn't really have a chance, or it wasn't easily accessible to network because nobody was really meeting in person. People were doing everything virtually as we're doing now. And it was challenging. So, 2 years later now, I've been, finding every way I can to network, with the pandemic, breathing down my neck.
Sure. And I know a lot of, you work with many realtors up there?
Yeah. So a lot of times I have been reaching out to realtors and, trying to build those relationships through social media. Because a lot of times, especially, in the recent past, it's been hard to, walk into an office and say, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. You don't really get a lot of feedback. You don't get a lot of response that way. A lot of the realtors aren't there anymore.
Sure.
Some are working from home, they're on the road. And so, I try to be as genuine as possible, and just say, hey, my name's Kyle Meagher. I work for Morse Allied. Just wanted to reach out and let you know, the area I cover, and we'd love to earn your business. You want to have a conversation, reach back out, and you hear back from, I don't know, 30, 40%, whatever.
Hey, that's a good conversion. That's a great conversion.
I don't know if it's that high, honestly.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what I mean? You get some feedback and some just ignore you, and it's just how it is. It's a very competitive business, and you have to find unique ways to grow.
Right. Well, actually, that kind of leads me to the second point I wanted to make about being competitive. I mean, we don't need to get into the reasons why everyone's leaving Michigan. It seems like, everyone's got their reasons why, but it seems like it's been absolutely crazy coming out of there. I mean, all the way back to 2020, even now when other states have slowed down, California and Texas have slowed down a little bit, for a while. Everyone was getting out. Everyone was going to Texas. It seems like it's kind of gotten back to normal, but for some reason, Michigan is still just Wild West. Everyone moving. I'm sure you've seen it. We have a ton of cars that we're competing with, thousands of people getting outbound quotes and other cars coming out. I mean, I just looked the other day, within a 50-mile radius of Detroit, there were 2,000 personally owned vehicles trying to get shipped outbound. So with it being so crazy up there, how are you dealing with convincing people to move with you? Because obviously there's not that many moving companies that have capacity to do it, but you must be getting some pushback on, wow, that really is the price, or they came in and said they're going to do this. Why are you so much higher, or why are you so much lower?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because Michigan's pricing has been very high, probably about the last year and a half. Um, Due to that, there's only so many drivers when the demand exceeds how much, the demand is more than the amount of driver
Yeah.
carriers you have. Your pricing is through the roof,
And
and
coverage becomes a problem too.
exactly. Finding drivers and having the capacity to just take the jobs. I can't tell you, in the last, year and a half, especially during the summer, how many jobs I've had to turn away, give to other moving companies that I can trust, just because we can't handle them, and that has been a problem. I think the biggest thing I like to do to separate myself from competitors is to sell myself, right? I think the biggest thing that you get when
that's always the best way.
when working with Allied and someone like myself, you get somebody that you can turn to 24/7. You book with a broker or smaller company, sometimes you're dealing with like an 800 number, or you're dealing with, it's hard to get a hold of somebody, right?
Yeah.
I get customers texting me at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and they get a response. I had a guy. It's funny because I had a guy like 2 mornings ago. He emailed me at like 6:30 in the morning, and I just happened to be up because I have a 10-month-old and I'm up at 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
So I immediately responded to his email, and he goes, "I gotta say, I have moved about 15 times, and that's the first time I've gotten a response that quick." He goes,
Yeah.
"I am very impressed."
It's the name of the game.
I think not only do you get superior service with Allied Van Lines, of course, a big reputable company. I try to sell a job that I am going to be there to guide you every step of the way.
Yep.
And I think that goes a long way with a lot of people, especially older people that are, they're already fragile, I guess I would say, as it is.
Very true. Yeah.
You take the extra time, to sit down at their table and talk to them and guide them through the whole process. That goes quite a long way. And I think that's gotten me a long way in the last couple years.
Because I know you've called me when you're sitting at people's kitchen tables before, and like, hey, I need a quote. And I'm like, hey, here it is, done. And then like 5 minutes later, you'll text me and say like, hey, we're booking this. I'm like, great, perfect, thanks. And that's why you always answer the phone. And that's one thing that a lot of brokers that we've come across. I can't tell you how many times our office in the last just month or so, I'll quote someone, they won't like the price, or I just won't hear back, or what have you. I'll get a call on a Saturday or a Sunday, and hey, I went with someone else because they said they could do it for $200 cheaper, and now they're not answering the phone, or now they don't have a truck, or the truck broke down, which as a broker is a cover for we never had it covered in the first place, and that's just an excuse we're making up. So I'm like, well, here's what happened.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's a great point because I actually had to point this out the other day because I had a customer that I believe ended up booking. I can't remember their name, but I remember you booked them. Anyway, they had told me, I had reached out to you. I usually do it when I'm right at their table too. And it's funny because I think people like that I actually take that initiative and, get it figured out right then instead of, hey, I'll call you the next day and get this squared away. I do it right then. Because a lot of times you leave their house, you don't ever hear back. You lose the job immediately. And if I get a number right then, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, yeah, let's get that squared away. And he can deliver in, 3 to 5 days. These other companies are telling me 7 to 10.
Yeah. And, and like I said, it's crazy, when they say, hey, the other broker's not answering the phone, or now they say they don't have a truck on it, or now they're telling me it's more money. I'm like, well, here's what happened is they underquoted you because they don't know what they're doing, and they didn't actually look at the market. And now they're afraid to tell you what's happening. And they're just going to continue to lie to you until you decide to cancel with them and call me. From day one, whenever someone starts working with us, whether it's a new agent like yourself or a salesperson, we tell them immediately, just transparency and honesty. That's actually, 2 of our core values, transparency and honesty. Tell them what's going on. Tell them the rate's going to be $1,600. And then if they balk at it or ask why, tell them why. You're leaving Michigan right now, and so are 80,000 other people. We have to compete. And normally they're pretty cool with it. And if they're not cool with it, and they want like the budget mover, then they can have the budget mover. That's, you don't want every customer. You want the best paying customers, or you want the customers that give you good business.
The customer that actually comes to mind right now, talking about this whole process, remember that lady a couple weeks ago? She had reached out to me and she's like, hey, I got this company. They're supposed to load next week. They told me $1,200, but now they can't get a driver to load it. I'm like, hold on, let me reach out to my guy. She goes, I need to have it loaded by, it was like Sunday or Monday.
That's right. It was
loaded.
Like
and this was like, it was like the previous weekend, like a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
She's like, I needed this loaded like in the next week. And I'm like, hold on, I got the perfect guy. And I had reached out to you and you're like, yeah, let me give her a call. I can pick it up, over the weekend.
Sure.
She had texted me, I think it was like on that Sunday. She texted me and she goes, Kyle, thank you so much. She goes, I know I had to pay like $400 extra, but they were there. They showed up. They got it delivered on time.
Yep.
Honestly, 90% of people, like you said, if you're transparent and you're honest, why you have to charge a little bit more, why you're going to do it this way, why you're going to do it that way. People do understand. I mean, a lot of times they don't want to come more out of pocket. But they also don't want that car sitting in the driveway for 2 weeks past when it was supposed to be picked up.
They want the job done. I mean, you had someone, I think last week you texted me about, and he said that his budget was like $1,000. And I was like, well, man, I mean, $1,300 is what it's going to take. And if he doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. Because I'm paying right now $1,300. So it is what it is. And then you were like, yeah, he's going to call me. Like,
and he did. He called me like an hour later and he's like, all right, let's get it booked.
Yeah.
Done deal.
For sure. Well, Kyle, I won't take any more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on, man. You're our first guest, so thank you so much. And we'll be talking soon. And everybody else, I will leave information in the link in the description on YouTube, and I'll also tag him at the end of the video. If you need a moving quote, I mean, Morse, they're a family-run company. Kyle's a great guy. He'll take care of you. We'll have our information out there as well for car quotes, or if you're looking to change vendors, or looking at redoing your entire car transportation this year, which we've had multiple people do, by the way. So we'll have all that information down there and below. So Kyle, thanks so much, and everybody, as always, let's keep it moving fast.